Run good country. Let's ride. Remember that? Is he still doing that? It's Wednesday. It's a live chat. It's John Deere Classic week. BMW International Open. Really whatever you want. Last week before we go to Scotland, we being figuratively, I'm not going to Scotland unless somebody wants to send me there, but I'm not going, but the boys are going for the Scottish Open next week. And then of course the Open at Portrush the week after. So get ready to adjust the sleep schedule, get ready for a little bit of coffee golf, get ready for all that fun stuff, and get ready for the next hour in which this time is yours. Questions, concerns, comments, get them in the chat right now. I'll go through as many as I can over the course of the next hour or so. And we will start where we always start. That is with the weather, and it is with the one and done selection rate, so that if anybody comes in after the first 5 minutes, we can just direct them straight back to the beginning of the show, and we don't have to cover the same questions numerous times. So here we go. Let's ride. The weather forecast for Silvis is hot, humid, little chance of rain until Sunday. And in terms of a weather edge, not one in particular. So low 90s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The winds are a little bit worse. And I say a little bit, basically from 9 miles an hour to 11 miles an hour on Friday, but it is mostly throughout Friday. There might be 2 hours in the morning on Friday morning where it is a touch better. Probably not worth firing off a bunch of stacks if this forecast stays the same. It's going to be scoring conditions. These guys are likely going to take it apart over the course of the first 2 days. Saturday could be a little bit more troublesome. Winds getting up into the teens and 15 miles an hour of sustained winds. That's pretty impactful on a golf ball. And then Sunday will cool off a little bit, but that's when there is some rain in the forecast. Now we are days away from that. That's probably going to change 15 times between now or then. But for right now, for our purposes on this Wednesday afternoon, probably not much of a weather stack, assuming things stay just as they do. One and done selection rates. And I'm trying to make sure I say selection rates because this is not really projected ownership. This is about as good of, quote, projected ownership as you could get, but because these really are the site-wide selection rates on officefootballpool.com. Denny McCarthy, 20% in 3 million entries that Office Football Pool has. Ben Griffin, 17%. Jason Day, 13%, and then a gap. Those are the only three golfers over 9%. JT Poston at 8, Michael Thorbjornsen at 7, Chris Kirk at 7, Jake Knapp at 5. Lucas Glover at 4, nobody else above 3%. So a lot of people used Ben Griffin last week, 20 to 30%, depending on the league that you were in. A lot of people will use Denny McCarthy this week, and those that did not use Ben Griffin will use him this week. Jason Day kind of sits in there by himself. Nothing too egregious here at the top of the board. We don't have a 30% selected player, and there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm sure we'll talk about this. The board is just wide open. I wrote about this just before we even move on any further. I wrote about this in my newsletter for this week. This is historically wide open. Okay. So I've been looking at I've been collecting the odds for about 7 years or so. And this is the most golfers between 25 and 35 to 1 in a single event. There was 14 of them when I wrote about this that I've tracked. So the only time before that was 2024 in Mayakoba. There were 18 golfers in that closing odd price range. And I think that is imperative to know because a lot of the comments that I'm probably going to make today are going to be guys that are very, very close to one another. If there are 14 guys that have very similar odds, what else can we look at? Can we look at their ownership? Can we look at their selection rates? Can you just pick the guy that you like more, right? We're going to be splitting hairs a lot. So I think it is really instructive to realize how tight this field is based on a Las Vegas odds perspective, especially when you're looking at the one and done selection rates and whatever else we move forward with. So you're probably going to hear me say that quite a bit over the course of the show. I want to remind you all that right now, DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to play for free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. Very simple, $50,000. Build your dream lineup, stay underneath the cap, and then just sit back and watch the points roll in. Every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt. Very, very intense stuff. Just download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and promo code Rick DFS. Enter it to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's Rick DFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app for your free shot today. The crown is yours. All right, let's get to some of these questions here. Rue Bright says, yo, Rick, Putnam is showing up all over the place. Can he win? I do not believe so. So I will roll against Andrew Putnam here. My apologies if he wins. Good on you. This is my website, rickrungood.com. I'm in dark mode. I'm feeling dark mode this week. Let's get after it. Not only statistically, but the eye test for Andrew Putnam last week was pretty bad. And I realized that he finished T8. So we were on the verge of having a golfer lose. So actually, I will tell you this. He has, in like the last 5 years, he's the only golfer to lose as many strokes as he did ball striking and still finish inside the top 10 of the golf tournament. And it's exactly or similar to what he did at the Canadian Open. This is being held together by the need to gain 10 strokes in the short game categories. The need for that. That only lasts so long, right? We've seen this time and time again. If he is going to drive it like he is, and if he is going to hit his second shots, which I'll tell you what, a lot of wipey right misses. The stats bear out not a good ball striking week. The eye test was like a lot of wipey left to right stuff that was going way too much left to right, way more than he intended on his lines. This is coming to an end, is the way that this stat profile looks. What was the final number on losses to Mina? So if you guys missed this on the Second Cut pod yesterday, it's a more of a professional golf podcast that we've rebooted from CBS. Now it's an independent project. We set the line that Armina could name, I think it was 68.5, just professional golfers. Just named them off the top of her head. No cheating, no looking it up. Sit down, write it down on a piece of paper. I set the line at 68.5. She crushed the over. I heard the final number was 111, which makes me now think that if I were to do it, I think the line should be set around 500. I mean, once you get past, they're going to be very, very random, but I think I could probably 5X her. And then I think the stretch goal would be like 800. And I think the insane number would be 1,000. I don't know if I could, if I just sat down for 8 hours and did it, I don't know how long I could go, but I think 500 is a really, really good number. So yeah, she did a good job. Hey, Rick, can you please take a look at the best putters on bent grass? Yeah. So couple different ways we could do this. I'm going to go to the Holy Grail. I don't know what time frame you're looking at, but let's just go since the start of 2023. We'll go on pure bent grass. You could also do bent POA mixes, and we'll sort by strokes gained putting, and we'll find guys with a decent number of starts. No surprise, Denny McCarthy's number one. 20 starts. He's gaining 0.86 strokes per round. Vince Whaley, 14 starts, 0.71. Matt McCarty, only 5 measured starts during that time frame, 0.7. Andrew Putnam, Chandler Phillips, Pearson Cootie, Jacob Bridgman, Taylor Montgomery, and Kevin Kisner are the other ones that gain a half a stroke per round. If you look at it from like a salary perspective, actually all the 4 most expensive golfers are all very good putters on bent grass. And then there are some losers before you get to Sung J M and Luke Clanton. So have at it. Enjoy, John. Chris says, hey, Rick, top 10%, my one and done pick has to be Ben Griffin, right? Yes, it does. And I've done the same thing. So I'll ride with you there just to kind of put into perspective. So I don't have to have the Ben Griffin conversation all the time. I'm happy to have it once in depth. He's been phenomenal. Another complete gain in Detroit. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete gains in his last 6. And the only place that he lost in that stretch was around the green at the Travelers. He's been awesome. I've said it 1,000 times. Every question has been answered. There is no reason to think this is like, it's obviously going to stop at some point, but there's no reason to think it's going to stop anytime soon. One start here, T5. I've rolled him out in just a variety of formats. I've bet him at 16-1. I'm playing him a lot in for DFS purposes. I am using him in a lot of one and done scenarios, just like tiers on Splash, like just a lot of Ben Griffin, and we'll roll with that. Lawrence or Champ last man in, I'm a Lawrence guy. Ventura or Springer, I'm a Ventura guy. How do you feel about Adam Schenk? I know he missed a lot of cuts lately, but he seems to be the ultimate boom or bust here with course history. So I would say I probably don't feel that good about Adam Schenk, but sometimes you find, a Chris Kirk who starts to pop and plays well. Let's see what we've got here. We have not seen really anything good from Adam Schenk since the Byron Nelson. And before that, Sony. So two good starts this year, very far apart, a lot of missed cuts. The history here must be really good for this to pop up. Yeah, it is. 3 top 6 finishes in his last 5. Those were really good tee to green weeks. He's not had a lot of good tee to green weeks. The approach plays bad. The form, he's not only just missing cuts, he's kind of missing cuts pretty badly. So no, that's a bridge too far for me. I'm 15th out of 150 in the one and done. Should I use Griffins this week or at the Wyndham when no one else has him left? Use him now. Because even if half the people above you use him, you still have a chance to move up. And you don't have Denny available. So that is, I think you have to play Griff. Does Tom Kim have to join the military? What a strange question. And it's a reasonable question considering that's how strange golf can be. I don't think so, Jordan. Somebody will have this, and I'm going off the top of my head. So for people who don't understand, South Korea has a mandatory military service that has to be fulfilled by the time you are X years old. I cannot remember what that number is. I want to say it's 28 years old, might be 29, might be 32. I don't know what it is, but it's like a 2-year mandatory military service. You can get out of it, however, by doing a couple of things, mostly like medaling at Olympics or at Asian Games or at Pan American Games, I think is also included. I want to say somebody got out of this recently. Was it Sungjae and Siwoo? I think they teamed up and won the Asian Games or won the Pan American. I don't know off the top of my head. I can't remember if it was Tom Kim or not. I want to say it was Sungjae and Siwoo, but someone can find that out for me, but it's not a ridiculous question. But he would still probably have at least 5 or 6 more years until he has to start fulfilling that. Hey, Rick, are you bullish on Denny McCarthy's chances this week? Yes. Quite. So the good thing is, sorry about that. This is not a long golf course. Denny McCarthy is obviously better on shorter golf courses. He is one of the best putters in the world. We're starting to see upticks in his approach play, and he has just been really, really good here. If you start looking at the last 12 rounds at TPC Deere Run, you're probably not going to find anybody who has a better history here than Denny. T6, T6, T7, where he's gained strokes in all 3 of those off the tee. He has gained strokes off the tee here in 4 out of his last 5. He's obviously putted very well. So I think this is a golf course that he has been able to outpace his ball striking at because it suits him better. And then he's just a world-class putter on every single surface. Been loving the second cut. Thank you. Where would the crew finish this week if you played best ball? Ooh, best ball or scramble? If we got to scramble, we would TPC Deere Run. If we got to scramble, we could shoot. Okay, so we scrambled at not all 4 of us, or not, it was me, Greg, Musso, and Michael Breed. We scrambled at TPC River Highlands to a 58. Now that's a shorter golf course, and we played it shorter. We could probably shoot 62s or 63s every day if we scramble. We could probably win the golf tournament. I think we could win the golf tournament if we scrambled. If we had to play best ball with no pops, we'd probably shoot like 14 or 15 under, which would not be good enough to win the golf tournament. I found Chan Kim in the deep dive, but then heard you mention him on the second cut. He's going to win now. Yeah, Greg was a lot more bullish on him than I am. The problem, or I guess the good news is for Chan Kim, is that he's $7,000 and the bottom of the range is really bad, or the bottom of the board is really bad. So Chan Kim has played like one good tournament in the last couple of months. It just happened to be last week in Detroit. And it was a complete gain, really good stat profile, 4 strokes from tee to green, added another 3.5 with the putter. We have not seen him play well before that since Punta Cana. I was up at 2 o'clock this morning. Sorry, I could not go back to bed. I don't know why I can't stop yawning. I'm very cozy right now. That's why. But T7, T5 at the Valero and in Punta Cana, and then he missed like 5 straight cuts. So I think the Gregors was in on Chan because of the known upside and just trying to catch him on the way up. He was more bullish on Chan than I am, but from a perspective of how bad the bottom of the board is, I'm in on that. Hey, Rick, can you tell me what you've done to Mike Cavalunas and the Cutline podcast? Was a previous go-to of mine. He produced funny and informative content. I've done nothing with him. I don't know. I don't have a professional relationship with Mike at this time. I like Mike a lot. He's a great dude. I have nothing to do it. He can do anything he wants. I don't know what happened to his podcast. That's his podcast. It's not my podcast. So I have no idea. I hope he's doing it. I hope Mike's doing great. He's a good dude. Back in the day, we had Stricker, Zach Johnson that dominated around that course. Let's find today's candidate. So the best candidate to go on a multiple year run? How about, I guess it's Denny. He already has three top 7s in a row, and he's going to be one of the favorites to win this week. So I guess it's there. Best 4-player cut line bet, any odds? All right. I saw this question beforehand, so I went and just clicked some names. Ben Griffin, Chris Goddard, Mark Hubbard, Keith Mitchell. Plus 298. Good luck. Wow. You're in the top 20 of the Rick Run Good one and done. Still have Ben Griffin. Yeah, you should play him. What criteria do you use to determine whether a bobblehead is worth your time and money? A younger me and the guy that I fight against has no criteria. He wants them all. I want them all. I want the ones that I have no affiliation with. Even at this point, I've narrowed it down to unique and cool, and it has to kind of cross a couple of items off for me. So like I saw the Fernando Tatis bobblehead where he's spinning the bat, and I was like, wow, that's cool and unique, but I have no affiliation to Fernando Tatis or the Padres, right? Like I don't care about them. That's a pass as much as I wanted it. The ones the Yankees do with the Seinfeld crossovers, I think are amazing, and I want them all. Especially the one, so I have it behind me. It's actually right here if you can see it. It's George pulling the golf ball out of the whale's blowhole. So that's like a perfect one. And then ones they give away at golf tournaments for winners. So like Nick Taylor has a bobblehead. I've got the Cam Davis one coming. Those are great too, but like that can be a slippery slope too. Like, do I need a Tony Finau Rocket Classic one? Kind of, but kind of not. Do I need all the winners from the previous John Deere's? Probably don't need like a Brian Harmon one. There's some weird ones out there. There's a Rory McIlroy San Francisco Giants one when he threw out the first pitch. I kind of want that one, but I'm trying not to. It will become a problem. Kevin, you thoughts is Jaeger or Im better? Okay. The Sung J Im stuff is very bad, and I'm probably not touching it until it turns around. I don't really like Jaeger either. But here's Sung J Im has lost strokes, and a lot of them on approach in 8 in a row and in 11 out of 12. It's unheard of, and it's completely insane. Kevin Yu is at least more of a known entity. He's usually a pretty good ball striker, but I know he hasn't been as hot recently, but he finished third at the Canadian Open, and he hit it better at TPC River Highlands, but we're getting a little bit of improved putting. We just have to marry those things together. And then he's got 2 good starts here. So of those that you mentioned, Kevin Yu is the guy. 50th out of 401 and done. McCarthy or Goddard or a flyer on Lawrence. You probably can't play McCarthy. So you're in the top 8th, and 20% of the field's going to use him, but probably like half the people ahead of you are going to use him. It's tight. It's tight on McCarthy. I wouldn't mind if you picked anybody else, like Thor Bjornsson or Jason Day, quite honestly, or literally anybody else. I would prefer maybe not McCarthy. It's close. Thoughts on Koivu and Ben James in this weaker field? Couple lambs, right? Koivu out of Auburn, Ben James out of Virginia. They haven't done as much as I would like, but I think that there is precedent for this golf course to not need. Why can't I find Koivu? How do I spell his name? Jackson Koivu. Oops. Jackson Koivu. Okay. There's precedent for young guys to not need experience at TPC Deere Run. Is experience good? Would I rather have like Lucas Glover's history? Sure. Do you need it? No. There's no secrets here. Just go out and execute the golf shots. And a lot of these guys can execute the golf shots. Jackson Koivu has not been that good. Ben James, I don't think has been that good either. Do I have him in here as Benjamin? But I'll double check. And yes, University of Virginia. This is a little bit better. 9.8 strokes from tee to green for Ben James at the Valero. 4 gained at Oakmont. Really, really bad putter. He's probably not played this golf tournament before. He has not. Yeah, I'm probably not getting to either one of these two, but I think I would prefer James. Do you like Lee Hodges this week? Everybody was very excited about Lee Hodges last week, and I was kind of iffy. Got off to a really hot start and then faded on the weekend. I accept the fact that he is putting together a really good profile. I just kind of hate the way he has been fading on the weekend, right? I mean, it's now 3 in a row where he's got 3 good finishes, but plays well in the opening round, then struggles over the final 3. Plays well in the first 3, then struggles on Sunday. Plays well in the first 2, then struggles on the weekend. Maybe just better to be the first round leader. Nat, this is a super chat. So Himi Chu, thank you. This is appreciated, never required. Jake Knapp, Kevin, you or Denny McCarthy. It's probably McCarthy, then Knapp, then you. It's pretty close. I'm pretty bullish on Knapp. I think he's just got immense upside and talent, immense. And you want to get him when the going is good, and that's what he's got right now. And yeah, I like Knapp, but I think that Denny is probably a touch safer here. Does Ollie have any favorite treats to consume while you're podcasting? Okay. You have a Yorkie. So Ollie is a Yorkie dachshund. So Jake has a Yorkie named Ollie. That's funny. We just got him. They're pumpkin hamburger. They're like little pumpkin things, but they're flat like hamburger patties. He goes nuts over those. Absolutely goes nuts over those. Can we do a deep dive on Jackson Suber, the other young Jackson in this field? Let's ride. Let's do it. Jackson Suber. So he's a pro now, right? 3-point. Yeah, this is much better. This to me looks like a guy who is finding his, who is like finding his place on the PGA Tour, right? Had a good Korn Ferry Tour last year, off to a little bit of a rocky start in 2025. Now getting to play against some weaker fields and putting up better results, and the stat profiles are coming along. Yeah, this is a lot better. $7,000. I think it's well worth it. You said you didn't like Zach Johnson. Is there a reason? I heard he always plays well here. Yeah, he just is annoying and he stinks. I don't know. Like if you want to just ride Zach Johnson's and it is elite course history. Don't get me wrong, but like the most elite of it was from 2009 to 2018. He's old and it's okay. It's nearly 50. He's going to dominate the Champions Tour. Is he going to dominate these guys? I doubt it. Played well at the Masters. Okay. History and experience goes a long way there. Outside of that, it hasn't been all that good. So I'm not going to go to battle with Zach Johnson because of what he did 15 years ago. He's going to crush. Second cut is the best. Everyone should support this venture. I appreciate that. Yeah. So we took it back from CBS or whatever. They canceled it. They retired it. And we said, screw it. We'll do it ourselves. We're not ready to give it up yet. We did 1,500 episodes. We did it for 10 years. It was around for 10 years. I did it for 6. We weren't ready to give it up. So we're going to do it independently. If you know any sponsors who want to get involved, we're growing it. The guys are working for free. I don't know how much longer I can get them to do that. We're working hard on that. and Mina's done a great job producing it. We've got some potential homes for it, but yeah, we'll see. I'm excited about it. Can you do a deep dive on Pearson Cootie? Yeah. So all of his stuff has been on, not all of it, I shouldn't say that, but it's been Corn Ferry Tour stuff, and he's been crushing it. So last time we saw him on the PGA Tour was the Charles Schwab Challenge. 6.4 strokes gained there. He finished T16. All of his next 4 results have been better than that, and they're all Corn Ferry stuff. So T12, runner-up, 3rd, T7. This is a very good ad for rickrungood.com, obviously, because I've got not only all the PGA Tour stuff, but Corn Ferry, Senior Tour, Live, and their strokes gained. DP World Tour and their strokes gained, Asian Tour as well. Those are the 6 tours that I cover right now. Hopefully more in the works. I'm not going to say that. But hopefully more in the works. So yeah, this is really good. You just have to kind of knock him down a little bit and say, okay, obviously those 4 Corn Ferry Tour results are not equivalent to PGA Tour results, and that's okay, but he's still playing a lot of really good golf right now. Outlooks for Putnam, to me, not strong. Bezuidenhout or Kanaya. Okay, let's probably not Takumi, but let me just take a quick peek and then I'll pull up Bezuidenhout's profile. I love Takumi Kanaya. This is not a very good looking profile, especially on a week that you're gonna have to make a lot of birdies. And the Bezuidenhout one, if I remember correctly, I think he's cooled off a touch, but let's just look. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. Yeah. T12 at Oakmont was really good considering the fact that he lost 2.5 strokes off the tee. He's probably not going to lose 2.5 strokes off the tee here. Although he did lose 3 off the tee at Travelers. That could have been a couple of water balls, though. Yeah, so that's it. Okay. So he's played here twice. 2023, 2022. He gained strokes off the tee both of those years, which I think is important and, again, instructive because he often loses strokes off the tee because he's not a very good driver of the ball. But this place, you can get away with kind of a lot. If you want to club down, you can club down. If you want to, you're not in a lot of danger off the tee. And then from there, he's been a much better player. So I could see some improvement here. So out of those 3, Nate, I much prefer Bezuidenhout. Is it now or never for Ricky Fowler? Might just be never. Let's take a look. Yeah. Boy. He's capable. It just doesn't make a lot of sense when and why it's happening. You know, Charles Schwab, he had a good result, but that's an unsustainable 6 strokes that he gained with the putter. Love what he did at the Memorial. If I could get that every week, just a complete gain, 6 strokes from tee to green, love it. But that's very few and far between. Really hasn't done that outside of that event in 2025. Hasn't played here outside of 2020, which I don't care about. Missed the cut if you do. Not much to get excited about. If you look at the other guys in that, who else is in that 8? Oh, by the way, I'm testing something out. I now have the ability on here to do these little designation bubbles, which I could, say, oh, somebody withdrew or whatever. I loaded it in for the Monday qualifiers. I just thought that would be cool. If you think there's something else I could do that would be cool to designate things, let me know. But I did load in those. I have complete control of these now. I can make them say anything they want. And I can put them anywhere or on any golfer. I shouldn't say anywhere. Other guys in that 8K range, I'm probably just going to prefer. I'm going to prefer Thorbjorn Olsen. I'm going to prefer Keith Mitchell, believe it or not, and I'm not a Keith Mitchell guy. I'm going to prefer Nico Echeverria. I'm going to prefer Kurt Kitayama. I'm going to prefer Mark Hubbard. I would take Ricky over Putnam, but that might be where I draw the line. If JJ Jakovic won this tournament, that's a statement. Sorry. It says JJ Jakovic, Michael Thorbjornsen's caddy, won this tournament with Ryan Moore in 2016. Got it. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I'm finding you here. Siwoo Kim pops up here from Alex. Pretty miserable the last couple of weeks. The problem with Siwoo is if he's not interested, he is not interested. And he is going to punt this golf tournament away. It's exactly what you do with the Rocket Mortgage, right? He plays well through the first 2 rounds. Things start going sideways, and it is just like deuces. Maybe I'm going to WD, or maybe I'm just going to hit 9 golf balls out of bounds. Who knows? So I don't get a sense of great grind from Siwoo. Really bad record here. I will probably just try to grab Siwoo at Wyndham and call it a day. I'm usually not the 333. Oh. I misread that. Yes. So I owe Armina. I told Armina I'd give her $3 for every golfer she named. If she got over, I didn't think she was going to name 111 of them. She said I could, they're opening up a new, I don't know if I should say the name of the restaurant, but they're opening up a restaurant here nearby that is like the third location of a place that she really likes. And she said, I can pay her by taking her there. So that's what I'll do. We went there on her birthday. She loves it. So we're going to do that. That's going to be the payment for her. Okay. I've answered a couple of these questions, which is good. So let's see here. Was saving Xander and Hovland for the playoffs, but with a recent surge in segment 3 for one and done, should I use one of them in tandem? So you have to use two. You should use, it depends on who else you have left. Do you have Hatton left as well? I would argue you could use Rahm and Hatton and still save those two for the playoffs, something like that. If you are going to use one of them, I would use Xander. I appreciate that, Joe Mama. Kashmir Keith, first round leader. So here's part of the reason that I'm in on Keith this week. And I don't, I'm not a big Keith Mitchell fan. And I think there's a really good chance he gets off to a good start and struggles the rest of the way. So this is the tier 1 in Splash, which is basically the top, 8 or 10 players. So Ben Griffin is in a, you can't even see him right there. He's in a league of his own. This is the X-axis is strokes gained over the last 36 rounds. The Y-axis is strokes gained at the John Deere Classic. Ben Griffin is in a tier of his own. Look at Keith Mitchell. A surprisingly good second there on this chart. And the other thing about it is from a statistical standpoint, where is he? From a statistical standpoint, he's getting beat up over this 10 strokes that he lost at the Rocket Classic last week, which is very, very bad. And I hope he doesn't do it again. It's unlikely that he does it again. But that punts his last 36 rounds, and he still is showing up there pretty well. Because he was on like a 10 tournament run that has been really good. And then of course he must have good John Deere history to also be on that chart. And of course he does. 3 out of 4 in made cuts, has never gained strokes with the putter here. So I think there's maybe a chance that he finds something. So yeah, I'm with you. I think he's going to, if he plays well, it's more likely it happens on Thursday and Friday than it does on Saturday or Sunday. Mina, she called it off at about 90 minutes, I want to say. And then, of course, afterwards, and I started telling her names, she was like, oh, I could have gone for a lot longer. I don't know. She was pretty stumped. She got stuck on Sahith's name. She was like, what's that guy's name? It starts like Sa. She kept saying that. And then she I think it drove her nuts and she couldn't get past it. But it took her about 90 minutes. What are your top 3 plays 7,500 and below? Okay. Kevin Roy, I think, is a pretty clear one for me. Quietly playing beautiful golf, top 20s, metrics are awesome. This is a Kevin Roy field. Okay. Love this profile. I think he's a pretty clear one. Tristan Lawrence, I think, is a 1A or a 2. Also quietly, look at what he did. So this is another good ad for Rick Rungood. T8 at the Rocket, awesome. T12 at Oakmont, awesome. He missed the cut at the KLM Open, but didn't miss it by much. The stat profile wasn't bad. 4th at the Sodal, the European Tour event, where he gained another 4 strokes on approach. So we've got 3 really good results in his last 4. And I think this is a pretty good spot for him. I do. So that's another one. And then probably if you wanted to go to Lee Hodges, I'd be fine. If you wanted to go to Emiliano Grillo, I'd be fine. If you wanted to go to Austin Eckroat, I'd be fine. But those other 2 are pretty good. Big lead in one and done. Oh, you used Griff. Just play Jason Day. It's a lot closer, Corey. You can probably play any one of those guys. I would probably just play Jason Day. But the options for those who are just listening are Day, Poston, Knapp, and Thor Bjornsson. So many options there. Very, very tight. Please don't start naming a bunch of players in the chat and I have to dig through like Ty Tryon and Ken Duke comments. Yeah, Max Homa is broken. Are golfers drug tested? Yes, they don't release the thing though. What's the crawl? Oh, you don't like that? You don't like the ticker at the bottom? All right, Mina, give Rob a break for like five minutes. We'll take the ticker off. All right, it's giving him seizures. It's all right. I'm sorry. I've answered a lot of these, which is great. 9th out of 101 and done. I've already used Griffin. No, you should. That says, am I better off going with McCarty to retain position? I think you mean McCarthy. Don't click McCarty's name. That would be Matt McCarty. Click Denny McCarthy's name. No idea what's wrong with Sung Jae, but it's been bad for about since the start of the year. Not very good. One and done. Ben or Denny. I'm about 5 million behind first. It's Ben. My betting card. Do not bet what I bet. This is just for conversation. My goals and aspirations and risk tolerance is way different than yours. So don't bet what I bet. But I've only bet 2 names this week, and I'm okay going to battle with that. So I have bet, like I said, Ben Griffin at 16-1, Michael Thor Bjornsson at 35-1. That's it. I'll go to battle with those guys, and I'll save my money for next week. I need a Rick Run Good bobblehead. So believe it or not, I don't know if you can see it. A buddy of mine had a Rick Run Good bobblehead made, and it is back there, and it looks a lot like me. It's very creepy in a good way. Like, I love the real ones. I don't know if you guys remember, there was an old company, I think it was called BGE, BDA, BG, 3 letters that started with a B. And they used to always just be those standard, like kind of frumpy looking bobbleheads. Like, and everybody was the same shape. Everybody was the same size. And then as there was another company that started coming out, I think it was Forever Collectibles or whatever. They started doing like around like the early 2000s, they started doing like more action bobbleheads and like skinnier guys and like kind of made it look like them and different poses. I like the realistic ones. And this one like looks a lot like me. It's kind of crazy. In on Goddard. Is Bud Cauley a sneaky good one and done play? I think he's a little bit too sneaky. I think he's definitely cooled off. It's going to be fine, but I think it's a little bit too sneaky. I would rather play Day or Poston or Thor Bjornsson or Nico Echeverria or Jake Knapp or Lucas Glover. I mean, didn't even really talk about Lucas Glover. Like, Lucas Glover's a pretty darn good option for this week. There is probably not a golf course in the world that I could find that Lucas Glover has been a overall positive putter in his last 6 starts at. And that's what he's been doing at John Deere Classic. That's what he's been doing here. Mina says, show the bobblehead. All right, hold on a second. So real quick, first off, here's the Xander one from winning the PGA. That's the Xander one. And then this is the one. This is, I mean, scarily accurate, isn't it? Like, it has like a wedding band on. I don't know if it's going to self-focus. It is. Like, how insane is that? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right. Where was I, Mina? Where was I? Okay. Answer that. Mentioned Eckroat. He is like my favorite cheapest option, right? Like, he's like the last guy that I think he's $7,000 flat that I'm comfortable with. Then maybe Chris Ventura would be the absolute lowest. Could you beat Nick Dunlap in a match right now? Oh, I laugh. No, I couldn't. I hope he gets that figured out. So this comes up, not a lot. I shouldn't say a lot because I think people have gotten somewhat used to it. Rick Rungood does need to be better on mobile and tablets. And it has gotten better. So I'm in between two systems now. The system that has like the cheat sheet, the custom model, and the golfer profiles is much better on your cell phone horizontally, much better on a tablet than some of the other pages on the website. The problem that I've run into, excuse me, because I'm not a coder, obviously, is there's just so much data, and I would have to like kind of pare down a lot of it. And I don't know if I want to do that. So always on my list though. In on Grillo for the most part, in on Hisatsune. So the thing with Rio is that there are a few guys in his price range that are actually top 10 talented players, and that you would not be at all surprised. Like, or you'd be surprised if they finished inside the top 10. You would not be at all surprised if Rio finished inside the top 10. Doesn't always happen, but he's a very, very good player. Finds himself in the mix much more frequently than not. Okay, this is a good one since he's considering one of the, not Jordan, JT Poston. Since he's one of the favorites, let's look at Poston here, because on paper this is excellent golf course for him. Obviously, the success that he's had around here, he won here in 2022. He finished 6th in 2023, and he finished 30th last year. It's been a bizarre year for him. Really bizarre year. Lost the putter to start, found it, had some good results. Now he can't hit it well. I mean, he's lost a lot of strokes on approach since the Masters, since before that, since the Valspar. I mean, he's been a pretty big loser since the Valspar on approach. One good week. It was the PGA Championship, good week to do it at. But this is not super inspiring stuff, especially because his best thing is approach play and putting, right? Go find a fairway, hit it close, and make the putt. I'll tell you what, though, he's actually, he has played well. He has good results at Deere Run in spite of horrible approach play. I mean, he's putted the cover off of it. 6 strokes gained last year putting. He finished 30th. 7.3 in his T6. And then the 1 year that he gained strokes on approach, he won. God, that feels a little fool's gold. I just don't like the way this feels. It's a very bizarre stat profile. And I mean, I'm interpreting it the way that I'm interpreting it, but I don't like the way that looks. The Holy Grail is this season and last, the stats page is this season and last season, but I've got an update where you're going to be able to adjust that. Let's look at Hayden Springer. I saw like 2 questions about Hayden Springer in a row. Not super inspiring. Has lost strokes to the field in 4 out of his last 5. Played well at the Rocket. Well, I shouldn't say he played well. He drove it well and he putted it well, which are 2 things you need to do. But this week is not going to let you get away with that. And he is not a very good second shot player, at least hasn't been as of late. Yeah, that's probably not for me. Potgieter, pass. Just let's just check in. So I also put this in my newsletter, of which you can links in the description. So I don't have to scroll through this. Now, of guys who have won on the PGA Tour in 2025, Potgieter's got by far the highest missed cut rate. He's missed the cut in 65% of his starts this year. Now, he's made the most out of everything that he's made the cut in, but he's already very volatile on a golf course that is not nearly as good as last week and having to deal with being a winner. Pass. The only red flag about Matt McCarty is that he hasn't been good. Is that red enough for you? I'm a believer, although I did finally just start benching him in my season-long fantasy. I've gotten nothing out of him. he's just so reliant on gaining 7 or 8 strokes putting right now, which is not the way he did it on the Corn Ferry. It's not what he did in the fall. It is just so bad. Valimaki, probably don't have much of an opinion on Valimaki, but let's take a look. Yeah, I don't. It's exactly what I expected. Some decent play. It's kind of similar. He's got to gain 3 to 6 strokes with the putter. He's probably not going to do that. 7,300 is probably a little bit too expensive for that. Luke Clanton. My general opinion on Luke Clanton is that the pendulum has swung a little bit too far. He was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Then he struggles a little bit, and now he's back down to $8,700. He's way better than that. The approach play is nonsensically good. He is a streaky putter, which is fine. We knew that. The results are fine, and he finished T2 here last year. I'm in on Clanton. I think it's swung way too far. Del Solar deep dive. Cristobal del Solar got off to a pretty decent start last week and then really punted it away on the weekends. Canadian Open, yeah, he's like an 18-hole player. He's like an 18 to 36-hole player right now, having a real difficult time putting multiple rounds together. So it would be very, very short-term investments on Del Solar. Is it a Glover week? Yes. Quade Cummins. Sorry, Quade. Is he the only guy with a Q name? Woof. That Detroit Golf Club profile is about as bad as I could ever imagine. Losing strokes on approach and putting to the tune of like 10. Not good. I've got anyone not okay, so you've used M Day, Post, and Kim available in my one and done. Oh, you have anybody but them. I don't know what your position is. If your position is good, play Griffin. If it's not, play Lucas Glover. Gim Reaper snicking up on people. Let's look. Doug Gim, I'm happy to say, is a name that Armina. Whoa, he put the bucket cap on for the headshot. Good on you, Dougie. Love that. Armina hates when I wear my bucket hat because I look just like that. I look pretty bad in it. That's not a good look, Doug. Complete gain at the Rocket. I want to be in on this. He's picked up strokes from tee to green in 6 out of 7, which is good. Putter's not. Okay. All right. Okay. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for Gim. Philip, no. In on Hubbard. Yeah, I think so. John, I think I might have talked about him on Monday. Hubbard is a pretty good intersection of recent form and history. The form coming in is pretty sound. He missed the cut at the US Open. Not gonna I don't care at all about that. Has the T5, the T7, the 13, all good stuff. And then his John Deere Classic history is pretty strong. At least the last 4 are. No worse than 41st, 2 top 15 finishes. One of them was a T6. Yeah, that's no problem there. I'm fine with all that. Philip Knowles. Why can't I spell his name right? Usually it gives me spelling errors. There we go. It's okay. It's okay. Played great in Raleigh on a Corn Ferry Tour event to start June. So he played 4 times in June. T8 missed cut. That was the Canadian Open. 35th in Wichita. That was Corn Ferry. And then 34th, the Rocket. I guess the good news is it's going to be a weak field. If you wanted to play him at 60, okay, 6,200 is pretty good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Krilo's headshot, he just changed it, I think. They just updated the new headshot. So I have this tied to the official PGA Tour headshots. So what I'm assuming happened here, give you a little look behind the scenes. What I'm assuming happened here is he got a new sponsor. I don't know this to be sure, but I'm assuming he got a new sponsor. And was like, yo, we got to redo my headshot. That's part of the contract. So like, we got to get this done. And they were like, oh, dude, our professional photographer left. He's not here. And he was like, okay, I'll just take a photo of you with my iPhone and we'll post that until we can get you like a real headshot. Because this is not framed properly. This is clearly low quality. This is like at a bad angle. It does not look like everybody else's headshots. So I'm assuming that's what happened. And I bet you in the course of the next week or two, he will have a new one in there. Okay. Real quick. Let me knock out these last three here real quick. Jacob Bridgman. Oof. It's a lot of red. And the problem with this is this is almost a perfect X, by the way. Look at that. Boom, boom. What I hate about this is it's something different every week, which I hate. I mean, it's literally a perfect X, which is not enjoyable. So that is usually a no for me. Is it a Denny week? Yes. Is there a wave advantage? Probably not. What are your thoughts on Svensson? Is it Adam or is it Jesper? I'm assuming it's Jesper, who missed the cut last week on a golf course that should have been really good for him. Drove it well, putted it really terribly. I'm probably okay with this. Yeah, he's a talented player. Again, that combination of driving and putting is not as valuable here, but he's, I think, more well-rounded than just a two-trick pony. Rob, I've annoyed into donating. He says, thanks for turning off the crawl. Was quite jittery. So I just have to annoy you and then get you and then stop annoying you and to get the super chat. No, I'm messing with you guys. Appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to go grab a quick Uncrustable or something. And then I've got a couple more things I need to do. And then I've got to run out. So I'm going to put a pin in this right now, but I'm going to say, let's go see what the Splash Sports, this was on, our listener league was on pace for a huge overlay. Let's see what it's at now. It still might overlay 742 out of 1100. That is usually much farther than that. So if you want to get in, now would be a good time to do that. $25 an entry, completely guaranteed. So if it overlays, it overlays. They're still going to pay it out. The other thing, so they launched this MLB streak. So it's like ESPN beat the streak. So if your guy gets a hit, you move on. So it's like Survivor, but for baseball. I kind of love this. I used to love the MLB beat the streak. And they just launched those. So I appreciate the who do I have for tonight? Sal Frelick. What time's that game? I'm cutting into my Uncrustable time, but now I'm curious. Sal Frelick plays for who? Milwaukee. Oh, is it over? Oh, crap. Oh, he got 2 hits today. Maybe it just hasn't updated yet. All right, I think I'm through. He was 2 for 5. Easy game. All right, that'll do it. I will talk to you guys another time, and goodbye.